12-year-old Eli Carter had always been the curious type and adventurer in his own world, living in a small, quiet village nestled between wooded hills and the remnants of an old mining town. His favorite pastime was exploring the thick forests. With his loyal golden retriever, Rusty, armed with a stick as his sword and a backpack full of snacks, Eli would wander for hours, pretending to be a treasure hunter. His imagination was fueled by the stories his grandfather, Henry Carter, once a miner himself, would tell by the fire tales of hidden treasure buried deep beneath the hills, secreted away by ancient people or forgotten settlers. But they were just stories. Or so Eli thought. One stormy night, the village was lashed with wind and rain. Trees cracked under the pressure, and the old hills rumbled slightly, causing a minor landslide on one of the lesser-known forest trails. The next morning, as the sun filtered through damp trees and mist still clung to the ground, Eli set off with Rusty to investigate the area. Something felt different. He could sense it as they reached a clearing near the base of a hill. Eli spotted a massive fallen tree, its roots torn from the earth. Where it had once stood was now a shallow crater filled with loose soil and broken roots. Something shiny caught Eli's eye. He brushed the dirt aside with his hands, uncovering a piece of aged, rusted metal. With growing excitement, he began to dig more furiously, eventually revealing an old box square, sturdy and strangely out of place. The box creaked as Eli slowly pried it open. Inside, nestled in a bed of faded cloth, was a metallic orb, roughly the size of a grapefruit. It was smooth yet etched with strange, swirling symbols. As Eli reached out and touched it, the orb gave off a soft hum and a warm pulse of blue light. Rusty barked and stepped back, sensing something unusual. Eli stood frozen, staring at the glowing object. This was no ordinary find. With the orb safely wrapped in his backpack, he sprinted back home, his mind racing. When he burst through the door and showed the object to his grandfather, the old man froze. His eyes widened in disbelief. Carefully, he picked it up, examining the markings. "Where did you find this?" Henry asked in a voice that was part fear, part awe. Eli explained everything. His grandfather looked at him gravely and whispered, "This isn't just a relic. This is the heart of Yara. It was only a legend when I was a boy. They said it was buried long before our kind ever came here, left behind by people who could talk to the earth itself." Eli's heart thudded in his chest. All those bedtime stories, the wild tales of lost civilizations and nature-bound magic, could they be real? Henry warned him, "You must tell no one about this. The wrong people would do anything to get their hands on it." As Eli stared at the glowing orb in his hands, he realized something. He hadn't just found a rare treasure. He had uncovered a secret the world had forgotten, one that could change everything. And thus, the adventure began. Eli couldn't sleep that night. The metallic orb, the heart of Yara, as his grandfather called it, glowed faintly on his desk, pulsing like a heartbeat. Questions swirled through his head. What was it? Why was it buried? And more importantly, why did it react to him? The next day at school, Eli could barely focus. During lunch, his best friend Tara noticed his distracted behavior. She was smart, bold, and curious, a perfect match for Eli's adventurous spirit. After some coaxing, he finally told her everything and showed her the orb. Tara's eyes widened with wonder, but she didn't laugh or doubt him. Instead, she said, "We need to find out what this is." Together, they began researching symbols, online and in the dusty books from the village's tiny library. Strangely, none of the markings on the orb matched any known language. However, one book referenced the Heart of Yara, a mythical artifact believed to be part of an ancient civilization that communicated with nature. The book said it was powerful, sentient, and protective. It was rumored to have been hidden away for the safety of the earth itself. Soon, strange things began happening. When Eli carried the orb in his backpack, his presence interfered with electronics. Lights flickered, phones died, and even the librarian's old radio gave off strange, static sounds. Worse still, some forest animals seemed to be watching him wherever he went. One day, a deer stood in his path and stared directly at him without fear, as though recognizing something within him. Things took a darker turn when Dr. Linden, a visiting historian, arrived in town. He claimed to be researching old mining records, but Eli noticed him asking villagers odd questions about the storm, the hills, and especially about strange artifacts. He even showed up at Eli's school one afternoon, speaking to the principal about local myths. Eli felt uneasy. He confided in his grandfather, who warned, "People have always chased power they don't understand. If this man finds out what you have, he'll never stop hunting you." Despite the warnings, Eli and Tara continued their investigation. One night, the orb began glowing more brightly and gave off a low hum. Following its pull, they returned to the forest and discovered a hidden stone marker deep in the woods. The symbol on it matched one of the carvings on the orb. When Eli held the orb near it, the stone lit up briefly, revealing a path they had never seen before, overgrown and hidden from plain sight. They realized this was no longer just about understanding the orb. Something was calling Eli, guiding him towards something greater. The orb wasn't simply a relic. It was active, alive in some mysterious way. But as they prepared for a secret journey into the forest to follow the new path, they spotted Dr. Linden near the tree line, watching them from a distance. He wasn't just a historian, he was tracking them. The stakes had changed. The treasure Eli found was more powerful than he ever imagined, and now others wanted it too. The heart of Yara was leading them somewhere, but where? And would they make it before the wrong people caught up? The real adventure was only beginning. Guided by the glowing orb and the secret stone marker, Eli, Tara, and Rusty ventured deeper into the forest than they had ever dared. The path they followed twisted through thick underbrush and ancient trees. The deeper they went, the more unusual things became. Flowers glowed faintly under the moonlight, and birds made sounds they had never heard before. It was as though they had stepped into a hidden realm. Eventually they arrived at a hidden valley, untouched by time. In its center stood a temple-like structure made of stone and covered in moss, its walls marked with the same symbols found on the orb. The moment Eli stepped inside, the orb lifted from his hand and floated toward a pedestal. It clicked into place, and the entire room came alive. Lights danced along the walls, forming images in the air, holographic visions of an ancient civilization. The children watched in awe as the story of Yara, a once thriving society, unfolded. The people of Yara had discovered a way to live in harmony with nature, using the earth's energy not to conquer it, but to protect it. The heart of Yara was their greatest creation, an intelligent, living artifact capable of balancing energy, healing ecosystems, and even enhancing life itself. But over time, outsiders grew greedy. Wars broke out, and the Yara people sealed their greatest treasure away to prevent it from being misused. The orb had been waiting ever since for someone pure of heart to find it again. Eli was overwhelmed. He wasn't just a boy who had found a rare treasure. The orb had chosen him. He had been called not to keep it, but to protect it. Just then, footsteps echoed behind them. Dr. Linden entered the temple, holding Tara at knife point. He had followed them, and now his true intentions were clear. That orb could power cities, heal disease, make anyone rich beyond imagination, he hissed. Give it to me. Eli stood frozen, torn between fear and duty. But then the orb glowed more brightly, reacting to his emotion. The trees outside began to stir. Vines crept into the temple, responding to Eli's silent plea. Rusty growled, and Tara, taking a chance, elbowed Lyndon in the ribs and broke free. In that instant, the forest came alive, vines wrapped around Lyndon, pulling him back. The orb flashed, and the temple sealed itself with a hum, vanishing into the earth with the power of nature reclaiming its own. The children escaped, breathless and shaken but safe. Eli looked down at his hands now empty. The orb had vanished. Its mission complete. Or perhaps it had simply returned to where it belonged. Back home, Eli's grandfather embraced him with pride. "You did what no one else could," he said. "You chose to protect, not possess. That's what makes a real guardian." Eli and Tara made a silent pact to protect the valley's secret. The world wasn't ready for the heart of Yara, but maybe someday it would be. For now, the treasure was safe, not in a vault, but in the memory of two children who had discovered that the greatest treasures don't shine. They guide, they protect, and they choose who's worthy. And Eli? He would never be just an ordinary boy again.